Chapter 16. Bakery. About 2 years had passed, and both Marcus's business and relationship were still going strong. He had a reliable core group of customers, and he and Debra were almost inseparable. She even managed to shave off several pounds. She still wasn't slim, but she had healthy, thick curves, and Marcus thought she was the sexiest woman alive. He loved her figure with her abundance of meaty goodness that he could sink his teeth into, just the way he liked it. By that time, they'd managed to save enough money to buy a 2-story building on a busy Main Street corner. Debra stood outside, paying the movers, while Marcus heaved the last piece of furniture inside on the upper floor. He planned to move in on top and open their bakery below. Debra came upstairs after the moving truck had driven off and sat beside him on the couch. Throwing an arm over his shoulders, she asked,
"So what's the next step, Captain? You ready to open that bakery?"
Sure am. First mate Debra.
He laughed. The lower floor, which was to be the bakery, took a month to fully furnish and paint. When it was complete, Debra arranged an opening party and sent out invitations to their loyal customers as well as their friends and family. Marcus baked the store's first cake, a behemoth of a cake that stood almost 8 feet tall. It was draped under a veil so that all the attendees would be in for a huge surprise, and was the main centerpiece despite its mystery. Surrounding it was a spread of cookies and cupcakes. They welcomed their guests at 5 in the evening with the cutting of a huge bow they had tied to the doors. When the party was underway, Marcus motioned to Debra to come over.
"Is it time already?"
she asked.
Yeah, you want to do the honors?
Her hand went to her mouth in an excited gasp.
"Really? Me? But isn't this your dream?"
Nodding, he said,
But you were the one to support me from the start. So get up there.
Hesitantly, she went to stand next to the gargantuan dessert and waited as he gathered everyone's attention. The murmurs from the crowd told them just how curious everyone had been about the secret behind the veil this whole time. Climbing up the ladder, Debra could feel her heart pounding out of control in her chest. She imagined herself messing up, making a fool of herself, and ruining Marcus's opening ceremony. She got to the top and reached over to untie the knot, keeping the veil in place. Before she could conjure another image of her falling into the cake, the cloth dropped, and there were suddenly life-sized replicas of her and Marcus standing at the center of the room. They were made with expert precision, almost like wax dolls of themselves. Marcus's figure was on bended knee, presenting an empty box to the replica of her. She turned around, gasping and smiling as it hit her. Marcus stood at the bottom of the ladder with the ring gripped between forefinger and thumb.
Deb, I think I've procrastinated long enough, and I want you to move in before the end of the year. So here goes. I always said I wouldn't bend my knee when I proposed to a woman, so I'm hoping you wouldn't need me to since he already did it for me.
He pointed to his replica.
What do you say, Miss Debra Bell? Will you marry me?
Tears welled in her eyes, and she hurried down the ladder to meet him.
"I've always told myself I wouldn't cry when I got proposed to, but it seems I just broke that rule."
She laughed shakily.
"You're not going to let me be the only one to look like a fool, are you?"
Marcus laughed too, got down on one knee, and asked the question again. Debra didn't even let him finish before she was down on the ground, hugging and kissing him, sobbing loudly,
"Yes, yes, yes!